In this video, I'll guide you through how to change the timeline resolution for your project. This is an essential setting because your timeline resolution determines how sharp your video looks while you're editing, and it also affects how long it takes to play back and render. By the end of this walkthrough, you'll know exactly where to find this option, what it does, and how to choose the right resolution for your needs. Let's start by opening your project. Make sure you're in the project you actually want to adjust because these settings are saved on a per project basis. If you have multiple projects, double check the name in your project manager or at the top of the window so you don't accidentally change the wrong one. Once the project is open and fully loaded, give the interface a second to settle, especially if you're working with large media files. Now we'll head into the project settings, move your mouse up to the top menu bar and click on File. In the drop-down menu that appears, look for the option labeled Project Settings. Go ahead and click that. Depending on your screen size and layout, this might be closer to the bottom of the menu, so don't worry if you have to scroll a bit with your eyes to find it. If you prefer using the interface icons instead of menus, there's another way to get to the same place. Look toward the bottom right corner of the application window. You should see a small gear icon there. Clicking that gear icon opens the exact same project settings window. Both methods are identical in terms of what they do, so just use whichever feels more convenient. Once the project settings window opens, you'll see several tabs across the top. Make sure you're in the Master Settings tab. This is usually the first tab that appears, and it's where most of the core project configuration lives. If you're not already on it, simply click on Master Settings to bring it to the front. Within the Master Settings tab, look for the section labeled Timeline Resolution. This is the setting that controls how many pixels your timeline uses, horizontally and vertically. In other words, it defines the working resolution for your edit. This is different from the physical size of your monitor. It's purely about how detailed the image is inside your project. Click on the Timeline Resolution drop-down or value field to see your available options. You'll notice common choices like 1920 by 1080, which is standard Full HD, and 4K options for higher resolution workflows. If you're creating content for online platforms like streaming or social media, 1920 by 1080 is a very common and efficient choice. If you're working with high-resolution cameras or you're delivering for cinema or premium displays, you might choose a 4K resolution to match your source footage. As you decide, keep in mind that higher resolutions provide more detail but can be more demanding on your system. If playback feels choppy or sluggish, you may want to work at a lower timeline resolution for smoother editing and then adjust your delivery settings at export if needed. The important thing here is to pick the resolution that best matches your final output and your computer's performance. After you've selected your desired resolution, confirm that it's displaying correctly in the timeline resolution field. When you're happy with the setting, click the Save button at the bottom of the project settings window. This applies your changes to the current project. That's all you need to do. You've opened your project, accessed the project settings, navigated to the Master Settings tab, chosen the timeline resolution you want, and saved your changes. Now your project is set up with the correct